We got a fan favorite one today in Oklahoma State, ladies and gentlemen. Oklahoma State has an interesting fan base, at least from what I can gather from the comment section below. Oklahoma State has kind of fallen in the category of a legacy team that just hasn't won it in a while. What I mean by that is they have had a ton of talent to win it all, but they've just been behind some of the best teams in wrestling history, like some recent Penn State teams, Iowa, or the year Penn State punted and Ohio State just balled out. So yeah, their last title was in 2006, which is a good bit for a team of their standards. Like I said, they've been behind some pretty solid teams. However, how are they going to look this upcoming season? Well, I think there's for sure some interesting possibilities with their lineup, and they have a ton of impactful up-and-comers that could either make or break them. They've been getting some pretty solid recruiting classes, but a great class is only as great as you develop them. Not saying Oklahoma State can't develop their guys. What I am saying is I wish their up-and-comers the best. I'm going to mention them throughout this video, and don't worry, they have a ton, and if they all play out, Oklahoma State might be pretty deadly. Now, before we dive too deep into the trauma from last year and hopefully the silver lining approaching in 2023 for the Cowboys, what's going on, everyone? My name is Tanner, and welcome back to TrueTan Wrestling. I've been popping out way too early lineup breakdowns for a good while now, so if you want your favorite team done, send it in the comment section below. Also, while you're down there, be sure to leave your thoughts on the video and Oklahoma State wrestling. Finally, if you do peek around the channel, don't be shy to like this video and then subscribe to the channel. Now, without further ado, let's crack into the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Oklahoma State is clearly ran by the legend John Smith, who has been there for what feels like ages. It is always fun when a coach is an alumni of the university, especially with a program like Oklahoma State. Unfortunately, his squad in 2022 did not do so hot. They had a pretty poor Big 12s, not taking it home, and then only finished with 2 All-Americans and Dayton Fix the runner-up, and Dustin Plott finishing in 6th place, earning his first All-American honor. That ended them in 14th place at NCAAs, which was a huge blow to their 3rd place finish in 2021, with several All-Americans and a national champ. Clearly, they did not have AJ Ferrari in their lineup due to his injury, but when he got hurt, it almost seemed like their whole team fell apart. But he is only one guy, so let's talk about the rest of the Oklahoma State squad, starting with the very tough 125, where the assumed starter will once again be Trevor Mastrogiovanni, who has been the starter for the past 2 years now, qualifying for nationals both years. He made the round of 16 as a freshman, but went 1-2 as a sophomore at NCAAs, despite having an 18-3 record. There was high speculations that he was hurt with his knee or leg in the later half of the season, so I honestly think that played a major factor in how he did at nationals, because in my opinion he honestly looked really good from November to December. The Cowboys also have Reese Whitcraft, who will once again be battling to make the 125 spot. He was a national qualifier at 133 when Dayton Fix took his Olympic red shirt in 2020, but since then he has been behind either Fix or Trevor Mastrogiovanni. Speaking of the man Dayton Fix, let's move to 133, where yes, the starter once again will be Dayton Fix. He has made the national finals every single year he has wrestled, but has failed to win it all, and he will once again be trying to get over the RBY hump in the 2023 NCAA tournament, but for now he is a 3-time national runner-up. At the minimum, he has 2 years of eligibility left, so he is not going anywhere for Oklahoma State. There's also an incoming freshman at this weight that will more than definitely redshirt in Zach Blankenship, who's a top 100 recruit to add to their depth as a team. 141, there is a lot of options, but there is 3 guys to mention, starting with Carter Young, who was a really young starter last year, and it showed in some of his matches. However, he did get some massive wins scattered throughout his questionable performances, along with getting more freestyle experience this offseason, so I think he will really elevate himself coming into this next year. Also, wrestling a full Big 12 schedule, a Power 5 schedule I might add, really helps true freshmen develop, so I think his sophomore year will be just fine. I also think he was a little too small for 141 last season, so hopefully he can gain some size in the weight room. The other guy is a longtime Cowboy veteran Dusty Hone, who has knocked off some elite opponents, but lost the wrestle off to Carter Young pretty good last season from what I heard. Despite Dusty Hone going 6-0 with a win over Ty Smith of Utah Valley, he never really got a chance in the starting lineup, and he will continue to battle for the starting spot to once again become a national qualifier. Then there is also redshirt freshman coming out of a 19-2 redshirt season, which is honestly incredible, and that man is named by Teague Travis, who could be trying to take over the 141 spot lot this season, but as we can all tell, there's a lot of young depth here. 149 is another really deep weight with a lot of young talent in it. The starter last year and probably coming back for this season until proven otherwise will be Caden Gefeller. He was a round of 12 guy last year and he has 1 year of eligibility left if he wants to take it. I hope he does because he has had some serious highs and really low lows in his time at Oklahoma State, but it all seemed to come together nicely for him last year and maybe he can slip into the top 8 for his last season. Now if Gefeller does not return, there will be some new youngsters in town, one being Victor Voinovich, who is a top Ohio recruit, and he finishes redshirt season 16-1, which is incredible, only losing to Matt Finesilver at the Southern Scuffle, where Voinovich placed 3rd. I think this redshirt year was great for him, and if he is the guy, I think he could be a great threat in the 149 landscape. They also have another Master Giovanni, who is also coming out of redshirt at 149, in Travis Master Giovanni, who was honestly a great Blair recruit in his high school days. He went 4-0 and only wrestled at the Viking Open during redshirt, so I'm really curious to see how he truly developed and how this roster battle will play out between 2 youngsters. Speaking of youngsters, 157 is another weight where young stars might have to step up and make names for themselves very early in their career. For starters, I'm going to combine 157 and 165 here because all I really have to say about 165 is it's probably going to be Travis Whitlick again. He had a really down year after placing 4th in 2021, but then failing to even qualify in 2022, but he missed some time along with possibly being injured, I think, which caused him to fail another All-American run. However, this is all I have to say about 165, but back to 157. Now, I mentioned that weight first because I could see some of the top tier incoming freshmen either being 157 or 165s in their career. To finally mention their names, let's start with Anthony Ferrari, young brother to, yes, of course, AJ Ferrari. Anthony Ferrari moved to Stillwater in the past year and won an Oklahoma State title before coming to Oklahoma State for his first year at college. The man he beat in that state final was longtime recruit and stud Jordan Williams. Both guys are expected to be 157 pounders, I think, but their final was at 160, so they could either be red shirts at 165 or 157. Now there is a little confusion because I know there's a theme that true freshmen are just ready to go, but let's say Williams or Anthony Ferrari just aren't ready to go and they want some red shirt. That's where it gets a little confusing for Oklahoma State. They could let Kalen Harper be the starter here for a year, or maybe Travis Master Giovanni or Voinovich bumps up to 157 and let those young guys develop, but who really knows? Like I said, this lineup gets kind of confusing here, and honestly, when it's confusing this early, I kind of get excited for the season because that just means there's going to be huge roster battles throughout the year. What I really think will happen, whoever loses like a wrestle off or does better at the beginning opens in the year will be the guy. Of course, I'm alluding to Ferrari and Williams, which was an extremely close overtime match in the Oklahoma State final, so I'm really excited to see it play out. Maybe we'll see it at Southern Scuffle. Skipping over 165 again because all Travis Whitlick, we see 174 with the returning All-American Dustin Plott. In my honest opinion, they have a few other guys behind him, but definitely for this year, and I'll even say maybe next year, Plott is for sure the guy. It is awesome to see him healthy also because from 2021 to 2022 is night and day. He would acquire an injury from high school in 2021, and it really played a factor in his less than productive 2021 NCAA tournament, but in 2022 he looked great for the most part and proved his 6th seed, placing 6th and becoming a one-time All-American with 3 years of eligibility to go. 184 had some interesting news for Oklahoma State occurring sometime after the NCAA tournament with the transfer news of Anthony Montalvo leaving and eventually heading to Arizona State. Montalvo was more than likely going to be the guy in 2023 with Dakota Gear finally graduating. Montalvo was a 2020 national qualifier but only wrestled 3 extra matches in 2021 and none last season. A few reasons I can kind of speculate on why he might be leaving is maybe he wants to go 197, which not really sure if that makes sense since he went to Arizona State and they already have a pretty solid 197, or the young freshman Kyle Haas is truly the better option. Haas was a top recruit in his class, and despite Montalvo leaving, I think Kyle Haas can make an impact in the lineup and hopefully bring home some NCAA points to Stillwater. He went 11-0 during his redshirt season, but not many top tier wins, but this is still promising and telling for a redshirt. 197 is everyone's favorite, or at least some people's favorite, in AJ Ferrari. Obviously, AJ was the favorite to win it all last season with a 10-0 record and looking way more dominant than in 2021. Unfortunately, just as quickly as he got going, a terrible car crash set him out for the season. God bless, he was alright though. He still has a chance to become a 4-time national champ, and I am sure, like he always does, he will come to this next season swinging. He has been at big wrestling events just watching, so I think he's doing just fine and he'll be back in the beginning of the season. Finally, to wrap everything up, we have heavyweight State, where Luke Serber should be the guy once again. I was pretty impressed with Serber and his growth throughout last season. He had some low moments early on, but he kept getting better and better as the season went on, and he ended up making the finals of the Big 12 tournament, along with qualifying for his first national tournament. A season like that can really improve someone's confidence, especially with how young Serber is, so I think he will really develop this offseason. And just like that, Oklahoma State fans, that is a way too early lineup look for Oklahoma State. One thing I didn't realize about Oklahoma State is how young their team is. They're only getting younger as well, with some of their young redshirts and redshirt freshmen being top 100 big board recruits. Whitlake and Fix are technically the oldest with junior athletic eligibility, so we can all get used to their faces for a few more seasons, which is really promising for Oklahoma State fans. The ending to Oklahoma State's season was less than ideal. I mean, they were undefeated at one point in the season and then lost 3 matches in 2 weeks and finished in 14th place. So yeah, I hope they can stay healthy and peak at the right time like they did in 2021. Overall though, feel free to send me your thoughts in the comment section below, along with hitting that like button and that subscribe button to support the channel and the sport of wrestling as a whole. I also have a fun clothing line and a Patreon all in the description below. Hopefully we can get some new designs out soon for everybody. Now I wish you all a great day and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care everybody.